So, hey everyone, Cindy Shumaker here, and I have a Barbie with me today who will be sharing her experience of what it was like to work with me for 30 days. What her life looked like before and what it looked like at the end of 30 days. And that's right, only 1 month to change the course of your life. So, welcome, Barbie. And what made you decide to book in with me? Because you didn't know me, you had no idea who I was.
No, a very good friend of mine, I was telling her like I didn't really want to go to regular therapists and like I wanted something different than going to therapy, something more I don't know, homeopathic energy. She knows me, so but she was like, I have the perfect person. She's like, her name's Cindy, and her husband was my dad's good friend, and she does this, and I heard she's really good. And I was like, okay. And then I got hold of you, and then we talked, and we did it.
So, tell everybody what was happening in your life at the time that you decided to reach out to me. So explain your problem in detail, what you were feeling, what was it like to have this problem? How was it affecting your life?
Okay. So my mom literally like on the 27th of December this month has been gone for a year. I was having lots of issues with grieving, and I just didn't understand what was happening because I've never grieved a parent before. I also kind of got pushed out of my job because of my attitude, supposedly, or whatever the case may be. Um, I was very hurt by this, and I just couldn't let it go. And it was like I was obsessed over this whole job loss situation, and just very, I didn't realize it, but I was very, I mean, I knew I was angry, but I didn't realize what was going on. So, and the reason why I couldn't let go, we found out, is because I've had past trauma, and I've always been told, like, don't express your anger, hold your anger in. So, um, so I had that going on. And then, I had a lot of other things in my past that I hadn't really dealt with. And so then we kind of worked on all of it. I have an issue with emotional eating. Um, I at the time when I before I talked to you, I literally was crying and laying in bed all the time because I just felt like, what's the point? I didn't feel like hurting myself. I was just sad, and just like I couldn't talk to my mom because that would normally be something that I would do when I was in that situation. So, and yeah, you know, um, I started talking to you, and we started working through things, and you started showing me things to do to help me deal with this repressed anger and my grief and the hurt that I've had through my life. And I did I cover it all?
I think you did.
Okay.
So, did you try to work on this at all? You didn't try to fix this in the past because this is something that just well, the grief just came up recently, but all that other stuff, the anger and all that, did you ever try to fix any of that in the past, or were you not really even aware?
I I wasn't really that aware of how angry I was. I knew I had anger, but as I said, I was always told, like, as a woman, as a child, as a girl growing up and being married to men who always told me, shut your mouth. You don't tell me that you're mad. You don't express your anger. You just do what you're told and be happy with it. And so, yeah, I didn't really realize I have a lot of anger. And it's just weird to know, like, how did I not know this? I mean, I knew it, but I didn't know it.
It was like it became your norm. Those
Yeah,
feelings were normal for you, so
right,
it was just your norm.
right.
So, had you ever thought about therapy, or coaching or anything like that before, or was it not until after your mom passed and you wanted to work on this grief?
It, I had gone to therapy before and I had taken medications and all that, and I kind of wanted to stay away from that. I really didn't feel like I needed therapy until like my mom passed.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bunch of people telling me that I needed to go to therapy over it, and I was just like, I'm fine. I don't know why you're telling me to go to therapy. And then the whole job thing happened, and then I just got so angry and I just could not think of anything else. And it just got to a point where, like I told you, I was just crying because I felt like, what's the point? And then my friend got hold of me and we went out to eat and she told me about you. And that's when I was just like, I actually, I waited a bit before I got hold of you because I was like, I don't know if I want to run to this or, and so I did get hold of you, but, and once I got hold of you, I just, you know, I thought it over and, I just thought it would be, a good thing to do. So,
And when you talk about, grief, you lost your mom, but then you also lost your job. So that's grief as well, because
hmm
grief and loss is nothing more than unwanted changes. So you had grief upon grief, and it just kind of got piled on top of each other,
right,
and then it
right,
just became too heavy. So how would
right,
you describe this entire experience working with me? Because we only worked together for 30 days. I
right.
said, if we're going to get in, we're going to get this taken care of and get you on your way so you can get back, jump back into life and start experiencing what you want to experience. So, describe in detail what it was like working with me for 30 days, and how do you feel now at the end of those 30 days?
Um, I was nervous at first and
Sure.
I cried. I only cried, like I said, I was real proud of myself because I only cried, the initial when I was talking to you before we actually started, and then the first round, and then I cried a little bit in the second round. But after that, like I felt stronger, like I was more in control of my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said, you taught me things to do
Mm-hmm.
that makes me laugh. And I did, something on my own because like in my head, like you taught me something like for my anger to think of something funny and and it was funny me listening to that person speak that way. And so I also in my head I've found this song that just like it's just I just think that it's perfect for this situation. And so whenever I start getting obsessive again, I think of this song and it just literally makes me laugh. And I'm just like, yeah, it's whatever, just let it go, Barb, because you want to move forward and don't let this stop you. You are not going to get stopped again. You're not going to let this obsess you and just repeating and getting caught up in your mind. So,
Which we all do. We all
right.
do. And the purpose of the 30 days was to hold a safe space for you so that you could move through this grief,
hmm
heal that part, and then me teaching you tools to use on yourself once our 30 days was up, so that I didn't want you to keep coming back to me. I wanted to empower you to be able to handle your own situation. And even though I'm
hmm
always here, I wanted you to be able to do this on your own. So that was my main goal: get you your desired result, give you the tools, and send you on your way.
hmm
So, when you think about your life now, what are you most looking forward to that you weren't when we started working together?
like my home situation is kind of up in the air right now, so that was kind of like freaking me out because I don't know where I'm going to live at this point right now. But I'm just very confident that now, like I'm worried but I'm not worried, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's there, but I'm not like crying and being like, what am I going to do, where am I going to go? um I know that I have friends that would help me, and I know that somehow it's all going to work out the way it's supposed to. I'm not getting going down the rabbit hole, basically.
Very good.
Because I see when I start going down the rabbit hole, and I literally do what you told me to do, and I start talking to myself, and it really helps. And so, like I know it's still there, and I after I do the whole thing, but it's not you know getting depressed and obsessing over it.
You're being able to notice it. Because I always say
Mhm.
being self aware of when you start to go down that rabbit hole is the very first step. And
Mhm.
then noticing it and then being able to pull out the tools that I've taught you to be able to gain control of those emotions in the moment.
Right.
And you've done that very well. Very,
Yeah.
very well. What would you say to others who might be putting off, I don't want to say fixing their problems, but dealing with their problems because you were like that in the very beginning. You kind of put off getting a hold of me. What would you say to those people that might be putting off getting some help?
I would probably say don't put it off for too long because you don't want to, like, I don't know, everybody's different. And I would have never thought that I was the person that was going to lay in bed for 5 weeks, basically. I would get out of bed, but I was literally like just wanting to get back in bed and just stare at the TV and cry.
Mhm.
Um, that was like, and before that, I wasn't doing anything either. I was just sitting up, staring at the TV and crying in my chair. So, just knowing that I I'm not gonna say that I think I needed to do all that to process to realize like I need help. I need
Mhm.
help.
Mhm.
Um so I guess what I'm gonna say is don't put it off for too long because if you do, gosh, I was just to a point where I felt like, I needed to admit myself to the hospital because I just couldn't let go. And I had a reason for stopping and then you came along, your name came along and I thought if this helps, if this can help me deal and get me out of this funk and make me figure out a way to deal with everything, um I'm for it. So I have to say that after having sessions with you, I feel so much lighter and I feel like I can do a lot more. Um, I'm um not as afraid going out in public. I don't like people still, but I know that if I need to go out, I'm not gonna put it off for 3 days
Yeah.
and be like, okay, I have to go out now.
Yeah.
I will literally be like, okay, I gotta go out. Get your shoes on, let's go. It's not me being like, okay, how many days can I stay in and go out when nobody's out? It's not like that now. So,
Because because of your particular situation, going out um, was not enjoyable for you, and there was a reason for that. So
right,
you're able to at least not stay inside for days on end. You can talk yourself into, like you said, getting your shoes on, getting out the door, getting done whatever you need to get done
right,
without feeling uncomfortable or fear or whatever it was that you were feeling.
right, exactly.
Very good. At the beginning of those 30 days, what did I ask you? What how were you hoping to feel by the end of the 30 days? You just wanted to, well, I forget what you told me.
I wanted to move forward.
Just
I
move
wanted
forward
to
and you felt
move
stuck.
forward. Yeah, I was extremely stuck and it was like a loop. Like I feel like I would be almost done and then it would just loop me back around and then I would go through the whole scenario again and again and again and I was like I don't want this. I Why am I doing this? Like it was bad and it was just so to see how the brain works and like if you don't talk about it to somebody, if you don't talk about it to somebody that is not related to you or knows anything about you,
Right,
um, like just like a therapist or a coach or whoever,
right.
because you need to talk to somebody that has no idea who you are or your friends or anything about you because they're going to look at it and tell you things that you have never thought about
Right.
and but if it's nice that you have friends and family that you can talk to but they're biased
right,
So
right.
so they're going to be like, well, I can't believe that, and you should do this and you should do that. When in fact, maybe some of it was true, but some of it probably wasn't true. And I it's just that being told over and over and over by people to do things this way, or just, and the one thing that I hated the most was everybody said, you just need to let it go. Well, no.
Everybody hears that, but they don't know how to let it go.
I'm like, well, no kidding. I need to let
Right.
it go. I know this. But
But
yeah,
how do we do that, especially when we're on that hamster wheel or repeating those loops over and over and over again? How do you get out of that rabbit hole,
right,
right? So my goal is always to hold that safe space, a very non-judgmental space, and move you through it so we can get you to the other side as quickly as possible. And I do have to say, I recorded Barbie's sessions, the very beginning of each session and the very end of each session, and then I made one long video at the end. And we were discussing how her face at the beginning of those sessions, by the time we ended the 30 days, the look on her face was, what would you describe it? Lighter?
yeah, it was just like not as angry and sad.
True.
Not as angry and sad. It was like, because you can see in my, like, it's not like I have a mean face on the first one, but it's just a very repressed anger and extremely sad face.
Yeah. You could see
And
it.
then by the end, I was just like, hey, what's going on? I'm
And
really
we
good.
dealt with your chocolate addiction,
Mhm. Yeah.
or I don't know if it was, you would say it was an addiction, but you had certain foods in that very last session. We She brought her food to the session, and we tapped down her cravings on chocolate and found the emotional connection to those
Mhm.
peanut butter cups and worked through those, didn't we?
Right. Yep.
So even though you came to me about grief and loss, we worked on anger, we worked on food cravings, we worked on a lot of different things.
We
So
did.
in 30 days, your life looks completely different than it did at the beginning.
Yep. It sure does.
Fantastic. I am so proud of you. I see a completely different person in front of me than I did when you very first contacted me.
Well, I thank you so much for helping me. I really do. It was really, um, I liked your sessions better than I liked going to therapy. And it was just great. It was like a great, like, I wasn't sure, like, when we first started, like, oh, how's this going to go? But after the first session, I was like, I think I'm going to like this because, yeah. And
We
I
actually
did.
had fun, even though we were working on grief. We had a
Yeah.
way of making every session fun, didn't we?
Yep. We did.
We had a
So,
lot of laughs.
yep.
So, thank you so much, Barbie, for taking this time to share your experience with me and with everybody watching.
Okay.
All
You're
right. Thank
welcome.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.